Today is November 12th. Today's quote is entitled Pure Bhakti. We follow rules and vows in order to be fixed in our sadhana, but our faith is in the devotional activity, not just the rules. In Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada talks about the mental culture of Krsna Consciousness. For example, we should think of Krishna and the cowherd boys when we are taking prasadam, and we can think of the deep meaning of Ratha Yatra when we are at the festival. We shouldn't think that just showing up for aroti or a festival is sufficient. So even though we may not be very advanced, we should still cultivate the proper moods of bhakti. Have you ever heard this saying that just by going to a temple, you don't become a sadhu necessarily, automatically, just as by standing in a garage is for cars, right? So just as by standing in a garage, you don't become a car. You probably noticed that. You haven't become a car yet, right? So we shouldn't think that just by executing a rule, automatically we're going to get the result, because there's a mood underneath the rule. Now the rules are important because they guide us in proper behavior, and they set up regulated activities for us, which we need to do. And because of our conditioned nature, if we didn't have those rules, we may not have the boundaries that are necessary to develop our bhakti. So the rules are more external boundaries and systems, and you can say vows, you can include vows, not that you can say, include vows in that also. These are necessary in lower stages of bhakti. But in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it's not that we think the rule is everything. That is what is called smarta Brahman. Smarta comes from the word smriti. Smriti is the name of the subsidiary Vedas, the commentaries on the Vedas. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, and the Puranadis are the histories. So these subsequent Vedic literatures, the commentaries, the expansions, Bhagavatam and so forth, if one is simply absorbed in following rules and regulations and thinks that the rules and regulations are the goal, and if you perfectly follow the rules and regulations, then you're perfect, that's called smarta. And so we condemn smarta as being ritualistic, that they feel the success of their spirituality is in the external performance or the external following of rules or vows, not in the mood. So we don't get rid of rules, we don't get rid of vows, but we understand that there's a mood we're trying to cultivate. It's a very specific mood, which leads to spontaneous devotion, which leads to experiencing Krishna consciousness in the mood of the residents of Braja. Now, I have one very, very practical example, and this is a big obstacle for many devotees. When they're chanting japa, sometimes they think, if they're not well informed, or they have a tendency to be ritualistic, they think that if they just chant 16 rounds, in other words, finish the number, then everything will automatically come from the number. But the obvious fact is that if you do 16 bad rounds, or 25 bad rounds, or even 100 bad rounds, you're not going to get the result. If you do something wrong, and you do it many times wrong, it's still wrong. And if you do it right once, at least you did it right. So, I'm not saying chant one round, but one round of pure Nam is more effective than 100 rounds of Nam aparat. So it's not the number, it's not the ritual. Oh, I get up early in the morning, this is my ritual. Between 5 and 7 I chant 16 rounds. That's wonderful. If you do that, all glories to you. That's fantastic. But that in and of itself is not the success. The success is entering the mood. What's the mood? The prayer. The mood of calling out to Krishna. Krishna, I want to serve you. Please uplift me. Please accept me. That's what we're supposed to be cultivating. So we gave this example here when you go to Ratha Yatra. Ratha Yatra is actually bringing the Lord back to Vrindavan. It's a mood of separation. And Mahaprabhu fully experienced that mood. That Krishna has gone from Vrindavan. The residents are feeling intense separation. So we're being taught to cultivate the moods while we're following the rules, not just to follow the rules without the mood. That's not the way we enter Braj Bhakti, and it's not our line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Unfortunately, we've been blessed. We're so blessed to be in this line and have the commentaries of all the Goswamis and so many great acharyas, Srila Bhakti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, Srila Prabhupada, just living right before us and handing us down these deep realizations of bhakti, which on our own we could never fathom. So now that we have them, we should cultivate them and not be ritualistic. That would be a great loss. And it's not what we're supposed to do.